Hey guys, now in today's video, I'm going to share with you a brand new product from Dockcase that's going to be my go-to storage device for CES 2024. And this is the Dockcase Pocket M.2 NVMe SSD Enclosure. That's a lot to say, but I'm going to tell you. Check this out. This is how small this little guy is. This little guy right here, that's a hard drive. And that hard drive can store all the way up to 2 terabytes of goodies. Let's go to check it out. Now, you heard that right. The Dockcase Pocket M.2 solid state drive is not just a drive that's going to be able to have a miniature hard drive inside of it, but it is packed with information. It's going to tell you a lot about the storage capacity, the health of the drive, and everything that's going on with the solution. What I love about this is that this, as you can see, is probably the size of a little bit larger than a quarter, maybe a $50, and it just has enormous capacity, and it also has tons of smart. You'll notice also that I have it connected to this rig. So this is the rig that I typically, we carry like 2 rigs when we go to the trade shows, and this right here connects directly onto this rig because of the connectivity that it has. It has the actual screw mounts right here on each side, and I just have a cold shoe that I've connected it to. So has 1/4 or a quarter screw holes. It has 2, right? And 1 on each side. And then it also is designed, as you can see here, to work with the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, if you're using the Blackmagic app, you're going to be able, on your phone, you're going to be able to use that app to store all your recordings directly onto this solid-state drive. Now, the power of having something like this means that if you have an iPhone and you couldn't afford to get the iPhone that had the largest capacity, this is like a terabyte, right? And you could only get one that was 500 meg. Well, you know what you can do is, or actually 500 gig. What you would do is you could get this to expand the capacity even further. If you even have a smaller drive or a smaller iPhone, you could use this to expand it even further, offload things for it. But this isn't just used for, let's say, example for the iPhone. This is actually used for computers. So I can take this little drive, connect it to my MacBook. I can connect it to my Windows machine. I could connect it to my Android phone, to my Galaxy Fold, to my Pixel Fold, to any device that has a USB-C port, and it's going to run it, and it's going to basically allow me to use this as storage or as something that if I want to copy something to it. It has live transfer readouts. It's going to tell you what's going on. It has also the ability to be set to read-only mode. It has power loss protection, which is really important, especially if you're storing things like this on the road or if you're on the go, because you don't want to lose any information. It's going to give you, for example, a health display of your drive, so you'll know if things are going well or if you really have to watch out. It has a temperature monitor, so it's going to tell you, again, the temperature of the drive. It also then has a design that specifically supports the 2230 SSDs. And again, these are the small ones. They're about this big, and they basically can go all up to 2 terabytes. You basically have USB 3.2 Gen 2, and it's a Type-C port that supports up to 10 gigabits. It does come with an included cable, and you can see it here connected to my iPhone, and it's uber portable and super light. So let's take a closer look at the drive, and you'll see why I think this is such a cool accessory to have for phone use or for laptop or desktop use. Now, before going into the performance of the drive, and I'm going to connect this onto my Mac, I'm going to transfer some files back and forth. I just wanted to show you what type of display you're getting with the solution. You can see this is a really nice informative display that's telling you how much storage you have. It's telling you, again, the current state of the actual hard drive. It has, again, the ability that you can rotate this display. So if I push this little button over here, there's one on the side. I can actually, by tapping it a couple of times, it's going to rotate, and you can see that now it's kind of reset itself, so it's going to change the position. So you never have to worry about, do I have the drive, pointing in the right direction, because it's just going to flip as I am pushing this button. You can see what the rotation is doing. So the cool thing is, again, you're going to be able to control however you'd like to see this drive displaying based on the orientation that you need it in. In addition to that, the other thing that I like about this is that, again, you have those quarter connections on each side here. You have your USB port right here. On this side, you have the button. And in the back here, this is where you actually can work, and let's get that on camera right there. This is where you can open up this back area and actually switch the actual storage drive if you'd want it to. Now, in my case, I have a 128 gig storage drive, and you could go again all the way up to 2 gig. Now for us, as we've been going to these trade shows, and I'll go ahead and zoom back out, what we've been doing is we've been more and more, or actually more frequently, we have stopped really taking big equipment. Let me make sure we get back on focus there. So we've stopped taking large equipment because it just doesn't make any sense. You know, holding a DSLR and spending 8 to 12 hours a day with a camera in hand is painful after several hours. So when we go to the trade shows, we take an iPhone or an Android phone, and in many cases both, and we'll also be taking with us a DJI Pocket 3. We basically take a rig like this and basically do all our recordings, and it's faster for us to edit, it's faster for us to upload, and it's also faster for us to even go live because we can do that with this all-inclusive device. So for us, when we use this gear, you'll see here we have the camera, right? So I'm typically with my camera like this, recording things. And then if I'm going to do, let's say for like an Instagram, I'll have my camera like this or like this, depending on what's going on. But then well, the nice thing I have is I have this drive storing all my goods. So that means that not only can I be streaming real time, but I can store all my content here. And again, it does it super fast. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go take a look at how fast this drive transfers information. I'm going to connect it to my MacBook, or actually to my Mac Studio, and we'll see what we're talking about from performance. But the key here is to get the Blackmagic app installed and then have it store directly to the actual drive. And then that means that as you're doing all your recording, it's going to go through the cable, 10, again, high capacity cable that they give you right here. And then what it'll do is it'll just write everything to the drive. Makes it super easy for editing. And then also your iPhone doesn't get cluttered. And once again, you can just do all your editing on this little guy and not have to worry about space. Now I have the drive connected to my Mac Studio, and what we're going to do is going to run a test. I ran a preliminary one just to see how well it performed, and I want to run another one just so you can see what or how well it's performing. So I'm going to hit start, and we're going to see the overall write speeds and then also the read speeds. And then what you'll see here is based on the Blackmagic app, it's going to tell us the things that you can do with it, like how, what type of raw video file you're going to be working with. And you can see here what it's telling us from, Blackmagic RAW, ProRes, H.265, and seeing a lot of checks in green is a good thing. And this drive is doing phenomenal. Now, there's a couple things that you have to keep in mind is having the right SSD also plays a role. So don't go cheap on your SSD drive if you want to have this type of performance. 918 megabits, and again, on this side, around 930, is spectacular. Now, the next test I'm going to go through is a actual file transfer test. Now, this file that I'm going to grab right here is 3.7 gigabytes, right? So we're going to go ahead and grab it, and I'm going to drop it onto the drive, and we're going to see how long it takes to transfer this file across. Now, this should go pretty fast, and that was fast. So you saw how well that performed. And again, this is going from my Mac Studio all the way to this portable drive, and it just took seconds. 3.73 gig. Pretty spectacular. Now, for those of you curious on how well it will do with the smaller file, watch this. So this is basically installation package for the K1. This is a 3D printer. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this over here, and let me tell you how big this is. This is around 613 megabytes. This is going to be fast. Watch it go, and you'll see, zoop, that was fast. So again, pretty spectacular speed. Read writes are nice. This is going to perform well with your phone. And by the way, you can connect this on a whole host of different devices. Now, for those of you who are looking at drive compatibility, just want to highlight this area here. So notice where it says supported SSD models. So you can definitely work with a Western Digital, actually 2 types. You actually have these other brands here as well as Samsung. So you have a lot of flexibility. Now, also keep in mind that you can connect this directly to a DSLR. And here you can see that you can use Panasonic. It could be a GH6, and also this the Blackmagic cameras as well. Cameras and the applications also, right? So you can use this with the Blackmagic camera app that you would have loaded on your iPhone. Now, operating systems that it supports, you can see that it's a whole host of operating systems. So you have Android, Linux, SteamOS, Chrome OS. This is going to be great from Stream Deck if you want to be able to connect something to that. Actually, no, it's not the Stream Deck. It's the game playing system that I'm referring to. You also then have the PlayStation. You also look at that you can have iOS, which you're currently on. Windows is not going to be a problem. And again, it has some really nice construction, aluminum alloy, tempered glass, and it's super tiny. So check out this campaign. A lot of excitement. I love the price point. I love the flexibility. This is, again, going to go with me to CES 2024 because, again, it's going to give me a lot of flexibility and portability when it comes to storage needs. Super cool. So, guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.